everyone. Welcome to CARE's 7th episode of our virtual parent and caregiver support group. I'm Sarah. I'm the director of CARES, and I'm really excited today to bring on another amazing nonprofit in our area that if you don't know about, you will hear all about this evening. It is the Children's Therapy Clinic, which is located in Cross Lanes, West Virginia. Before we get started, though, I want to make a few announcements. Our friend Taylor, who usually joins us, is not going to be here tonight because she is off taking care of herself because she's not feeling well. So let's all wish her a speedy recovery from whatever seasonal thing that she's got going on. And she might be watching. So Taylor, please do not feel bad for not being here. We love you, and we're very proud of you for taking a step back and recognizing when you just need that time. So I'd also like to, we do this every week, but in case you're new to the program, we're going to go over a little bit of a disclosure here. CARES offers these virtual support groups for a couple reasons. One is to build community. To know that no matter what your situation is, that you're not in it alone, that you have a big group that you might not know yet, but we're all here and we are all trying to get you some information that you can take back to your team of providers and hopefully apply for your family. That way you can continue down this path with a little bit more information and resources. So that being said, we don't know your personal situation. We don't know your child's specific needs, but somewhere in each of these programs, there might be something that applies to you. And we hope that you take the time to ask questions tonight or ask questions tomorrow with your doctor, with your team, and just amongst yourselves. So that's the little disclosure. We also have we've been mentioning this every week, but this is our very last week for our Caregiver Survey, which you can go to our Facebook, or actually not our Facebook page. You can go to our website, which is wvcaresforautism.org. And we want to hear from you to make sure that our programming for 2021 and 2022 reflects what you actually need and want. So if you'll take a few minutes, it's not very lengthy. It's just a needs assessment to let us know what you'd like to see. We also have our big fundraiser for our spring event coming up on April 17th. The SpectRUN is at Hurricane City Park. If you've not heard about it, there's lots of information on our Facebook page. The 5K for the serious runners starts at 10. The walk run for families and Awesome Family Fun Day starts at noon. So all the information is on our page. And as I would like to go ahead and offer you all, we're going to do a giveaway. So part of the information that we are sharing here, we want to make sure everybody gets to hear about the Children's Therapy Clinic and the services they provide. So like, love, share, and comment so that your network can see about this program. And at the end of it, I will do a random drawing for those of you that comment that you shared it, and we'll give you a family 4-pack to the SpectRUN on April 17th. I'd also like to take a minute to welcome back Deidre Darst, who you've seen on this program several times. Deidre is a speech and language pathologist. She is a board member of CARES, and she is a mom of Colin, who also, like my son Jet, has autism spectrum disorder, and we just love them to pieces. So that's why we do what we do. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Valicia. Did I say that wrong?
Valicia. It's okay. Everyone says it different.
I figure. All right. Valicia Leary, who is the executive director of the Children's Therapy Clinic. And I'm going to let her tell us all about their programming.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I'm really happy to be here with Karla this evening to talk about Children's Therapy Clinic. Also, as a parent of a child with special needs, I know how important it is to have the places in our community and the support of other families and other parents and other professionals. I actually have a 20-year-old who has cerebral palsy, and that's why I'm involved with Children's Therapy Clinic, like the reason you two are involved as well. So I know it's very important to have these services in our area. As you mentioned, we are located in Cross Lanes on Lakeview Drive. We actually rent space from the American Red Cross, and we've been in their building for 13 years now, I believe, since 2008. So we are there, and so we provide services to children who are in the Kanawha or Putnam counties and surrounding areas for that. So, if you want more information about the clinic, of course, there's our website and phone number and everything, and I know we'll share that again later. So we'll talk about the clinic a little bit if you want to go ahead to the next slide. Thank you. So we are a private nonprofit organization, and we're not affiliated with any other larger organizations. So we are, serve this community. We are in this community and provide services here. We provide comprehensive services to children with a variety of special needs. We have a high population of children who do have autism, but we also have children who have Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, speech delays, all different needs for therapy services. And we make sure that each of them, because we know they're all different, have their own individualized treatment plan. When they come to the clinic, they are evaluated for whatever therapy they need, and then the therapist develop a treatment plan to go forward for the services so they can set the goals. And we like to do a team approach. We involve the parents, we involve other professionals, we contact teachers if they're in school, like to work with other therapists if they have them, because we want to work together. So we're, coming to the same goal. We want each child to reach their full potential, to be able to, be in the community and participate. So we want to make sure they're able to do that. Sorry. Thank you. And so the population we serve is mostly families that either lack sufficient income or insurance for their services. That's how I first became to know about Children's Therapy Clinic. As I said, my daughter is, she's 20 now, but when she was 2 years old, she was diagnosed with cerebral palsy before her second birthday and was receiving services through Birth to 3, but we wanted more. Just like every parent, you want more for your families. And so we took her to a clinic to receive more physical therapy. And after just a few visits, we found out our insurance wouldn't pay for it because she had a disability. If she had broken her leg, they would rehab her. She would receive services that way. But because she had a diagnosis of cerebral palsy, they would not teach her how to walk. And that was basically what we were told. And we find that often. A lot of kids have different insurances that say unless it's medically necessary, that they're not going to pay for speech therapy, or unless, some certain diagnosis. So that's who we serve. We're going to provide services to the children who otherwise will probably not get it. This is a population that still needs the services. Their insurance may limit the visits to 20 visits a year or a total of 60 visits. And when you have a child that needs multiple services, you're going to quickly exhaust those. So we provide those services to the family. We do charge a sliding fee scale, but if they cannot even afford, a small fee that we may charge, then we won't, we can waive that. So we're trying to provide those services, so to make sure the children get what they need. And so what we do provide at the clinic, here's a few pictures. We have speech therapy and we have social skills groups, which Karla will talk definitely more about later because she's our social skills group instructor. And we also have music therapy, which she'll speak more about, occupational therapy, and physical therapy. And just to talk a little bit more about those in case you're not familiar what each therapy addresses. If you have a child that needs physical therapy, the PT can work to help with strengthening them, with coordination, maybe to do some program to help if they have tight muscles, to do some stretches and things like that. They may need help using a wheelchair or another assistive device. It's mostly big motor skills, accessing their area, walking, crawling, as I said, using a device if they need to, crutches or a wheelchair, but just to get them moving in their community and environment. And as far as occupational therapy, we can work with the children on sensory programs. We have some children who need some sensory needs. They can do things to address that, or just everyday tasks such as dressing, feeding themselves, learning how to tie, handwriting, bathing, eating. The big difference, what we can do besides, because I know school systems can work if your child goes to school and they get some therapy, we can address goals that may be at the home where the school therapist address needs just for the school environment. So that's a little bit different. And then speech therapy, of course, they're going to help the child learn to communicate better, whether that's using an assistive device, maybe an iPad, or something to help if they're nonverbal or to improve their articulation or language skills. So they help them so they can communicate, because a child can get, you can get frustrated if they can't tell you my tummy hurts or I'm hungry or what they need. So we want to make sure the children can communicate their wants and needs. And then the last two are music therapy and social skills groups. And music therapy, Karla is fabulous with this. She is a trained music therapist, so she will definitely talk more about it. But they use music to help increase the child's social, motor, and communication, cognitive and behavior skills. My office is right beside the music therapy room, so I get to listen to the music. I get to listen to the drums. Sometimes it's louder than others, but it doesn't bother me. And I get to hear the children, whether they're singing or playing the instruments along. And I know they're always having fun because I hear Karla's laugh with them. As well as in the social skills groups, what we do with that is if a child needs a little help, maybe working with others, learning how to play a game or how to take turns or how to read social cues and things like that. We can work with children. We try to put them all in similar age groups and goals. So they have similar goals that they're working on. And we usually do 2 or 3 children in a group, maybe more. We have a teen group that's a little bit larger, and Karla can talk about that a little bit more. But we can just help them do some social groups. And the great thing is, if your child needs more than one type of therapy, we can provide that at the clinic and try to coordinate it, and the therapists can work together as well. We have in the past done groups, and we hope to again this summer. We were not able to last summer, but sometimes we do small groups working on speech skills, occupational therapy skills, PT skills. We have all the therapists work together. Karla will have some songs, and we kind of do almost like little preschool groups or early elementary, so the kids can have some fun, but also work on all the different activities from each of the therapists. I know I probably went through all of that very quickly, but if you do know a child who lives in the Kanawha, Putnam, or surrounding counties, because we do provide the services at the clinic in Cross Lanes, if you know of a child that needs any of those services or all of them, please give us a call and you can request an application for services. You can also get that from our website and print it off and then mail it to us. Or if you just even have a question more about those services, please give us a call. And then I'm going to throw it over to Karla.
Hello, everyone. And thank you, Care, so much. It's such an honor to come on and talk about music therapy anytime I can. Something I'm very passionate about. But anyway, music therapy. I have been a music therapist since the early 90s, long time ago. And so I wanted to give you just a little background on what music therapy is. So music therapy, as defined by our National Association, is clinical and evidence-based. A lot of people think that I just like music, but it's I actually have my degree in music therapy, a bachelor's of science. I obtained my degree from Tennessee Tech University, but WVU also has a program now. Ohio State has a program, so they're coming up in this area. We work with the therapeutic relationships within the person, but it's very important that when you're working with a music therapist to make sure that they are certified and board certified, just like your speech therapist, your occupational therapist, and your physical therapist. Let's see what we have next, Sarah. Our big association is called the American Music Therapy Association. You can go onto this website and find out a lot of information about music therapy. It's just a really good, it's usually pretty friendly to use as well, but they'll have, if you're not, even if you have questions about music therapy with adults, with children, with, it just has a wide variety of where we work.
Sorry, I got a little finger happy there.
Oh, you're good. So for me, when someone says, so what is music therapy? This is kind of what I tell people. In simple terms, it's the use of music to change a skill in the following areas. These are the 5 big areas that we tend to work in: our social area, our motor area, our communication area, our cognitive, and our behavioral. We can hit all these. We like to say we piggyback off of other professionals. And music therapy, it works because it's so non-threatening. A lot of kids and adults and people in general don't realize that during a music therapy session, those goals and skills we're actually working on. So that's just kind of an easy way to explain it to people. All right. So as a music therapist, when I get a referral for music therapy, what I'm going to do is just like what a speech therapist does, occupational and a PT, is I'm going to go in and assess their strengths and needs. I'm going to develop a program or protocol for them to address short-term and long-term goals. I'm going to implement those. I'm going to collect and document and then make recommendations, just like a regular therapy. Our approaches just might be a little different. So, sample music therapy goals. What can you accomplish? These are just a snippet of things when I was talking to Valicia about what we wanted to talk about tonight. These are just a few things of what we would work on in a music therapy session. Attention span, coordination, eye-hand coordination, especially fine motor skills, gross motor skills, grasping instruments, using those big gross motor activities, neuroplasticity, connecting those brain connections. With music therapy, you're working on opposite sides of the brain, and that's why it works so well. Is if you're working on your left side, music therapy is going to be working on the opposite side. So it just brings those neurons together. Another big thing that I'd love working on is those social skills, joint attention, turn taking, and eye contact. And of course, we can always work on cognitive skills. If you've ever, a quick way of a good example of a music therapy is how many people have learned something by the use of music. Remember the old commercial, the Oscar Mayer commercial, which I had an Oscar Mayer wiener. I learned how to spell baloney, B-L-O-G-N-A, by listening to that commercial. So that is a form of music therapy. Or when you're at a ball game and the organ plays, it kind of revs up the crowd. So those are type ways that music is changing a skill, changing a goal.
I have a confession. I still spell banana to Gwen Stefani's song.
There you go.
I always want to put the N's and the A's in the wrong place, but she fixed that for me.
There you go. Exactly.
Well, and sometimes people have to sing the alphabet to remember the order of letters. I mean,
I still do that. Or bingo, B-I-N-G-O. I mean, I use that song all the time, but I'll change the song to either fit the child's name, or I'll change the song to fit whatever that child needs at that time. So yeah, using those songs to increase those skills is just, it's wonderful. I love it. Okay, a music therapy session. I wrote this and then I went, I don't know. Because honestly, when I go into a music therapy session, I know there's 2 things that are going to happen for sure. The first thing is the hello song is always going to happen. It always tells the child that we're ready. This is what we're going to be expecting today. And I always end on a goodbye song so they know it's time to go. So those two things are always constant in our sessions, a hello song and a goodbye song. Now, what happens in the middle depends on my child that I am seeing. I often meet the child where they are. If a child is really up that day, is having some sensory needs that need to be met right after the hello song, I'm going to meet those sensory needs. We're going to match his attitude, his demeanor, what's going on with him. And then I will take that in the terms of music and then kind of mold that into what I need to do next. So I'm not going to go in and after my hello song, if he is up and ready to go, I'm not going to be doing a slow song because that is not where he is at the time. We might go straight into Happy You Know It in a crazy mode. We might be doing a lot of gross motor play at that point, but during the midst of that gross motor play, I'm going to bring that music down to where I need him to be or her to be. We might need to beat that drum in order to get some energy out. And Valicia, she does. She hears that drum. All of Red Cross hears that drum some weeks. Or that child might come in and the extreme opposite. They might be a little weary. They might have been having some issues with transitioning. And I'm going to be working with that child where they are to get them up to the level that I need them to. Instrument playing is a big one. We love playing instruments. And then I will always go into a structured activity, followed by some kind of probably improvisational, whether it's on drums or him dancing or whatever that might be. And then we always end on a goodbye song. Usually music therapy session starts like this. It goes up, peaks, and then comes back down, and we exit. So I like to make sure that my child that I'm working with doesn't go out. He goes out calm and having his sensory needs met. So that's kind of what a music therapy session.
I was going to speak to that too, because Karla saw my son for a while, and he likes Nirvana. He was probably like 2 or 3, and Karla met him where he was at. They did Nirvana if they had to.
I use that example all the time. And every time I hear that song, Smells Like Teen Spirit, that's who I think of. But he was amazing. Yeah, he was amazing. He would just stop and freeze. And that was your way into him, was that song.
Well, I just learned that today too. And Deidre, I'm like, that's impressive. That makes me very happy. I knew I loved Colin for lots of reasons.
Kid, I mean, he gets it from his mama.
You must have some cool parents.
He does. So why does music therapy work? It is non-threatening. I don't know of one person that does not like some form of music. The majority of people love music. It's very universal. Whether you're speaking the same language or not, it's a very universal. And it also uses different parts of your brain to connect those neurons. That is basically how music therapy works in a nutshell.
Oh, sorry, hold on.
Oh, you're good. Okay, here's the big one. Is music therapy right for your child? If you can answer yes to these questions, then getting a music therapy evaluation is probably where you need to start. Can you be motivated to attempt and complete a task by the use of music? You have to have more than just liking music for music therapy to be right for you. You have to be motivated by that music. Does your child initiate interaction with music? Do you see a difference when you turn music on for that child? And does your child retain information conveyed to songs more easily than information conveyed in spoken interchanges? Can you sing to them to get them to go up or down steps? Or can you sing to them to get in and out of the car or go into your next activity? And does your child have a social, motor, language, or emotional, need to put communication issue in there as well? So if you can answer yes to those questions, it would serve you to look into having a music therapy evaluation.
I'd like to add something. It's kind of on topic, but not exactly. I was listening to NPR, I think maybe last weekend. I was running around doing errands, and they had a really interesting family interview. And the adult son has autism, and they were talking with him and with his family, and I guess, he's progressed along the route due to having, awesome parents and advocates support him along the way. But when he was little, he would repeatedly watch Disney movies. And he apparently still did all through he still does. But now he can verbalize why he liked them so much and what it meant to him. And they were talking about how music in those movies connects emotion to feeling. And so they can understand the predictability of the stories, but then the music helps connect the feeling of an emotion in their brain in a way that, that was the whole focus of it. I just thought it was the coolest piece. And if you've not checked it out, it's probably somewhere on their blog, but it was just such a cool story.
That is a really cool story. And Disney does they do an amazing job of matching that music right to the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I agree with you. I've got some adults that I work with in music therapy that literally that's how they're learning how to read. They love Disney so much. They're learning those words through the Disney songs, and that it's carrying over into a regular and to other, it's functionally carrying over into their life.
That's amazing.
It really is amazing. The other thing that I wanted just to touch on just a little bit is if you have a child that covers his ears when somebody sings to them, it might not be that they don't like your singing. It might mean with music, you have different intonations, and their hearing might be so sensitive that if you're just a little flat or a little sharp, it's driving them insane. It's nothing worse than going into a restaurant, hearing someone sing happy birthday to somebody, and they're all off tune. So just be super aware that it might not be that they don't like your singing. It just might be, I've had kids cover their ears when I'm singing to them, and I might be a little flat that day. And I know exactly why. I'm like, okay, I won't sing. We'll just listen to the radio.
So what you're saying is when I sing to kids in therapy and they say, Miss Deidre, stop, that it's maybe not really me.
It's maybe not you.
Or maybe it is because I'm no Karla. I can't.
Yeah. Or it might be their ears just that in tune. I've known a lot of kids, especially on the spectrum, that have perfect pitch, and they just are so in tune with those intonations. And just if you're just a little bit off, it will just, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard. It would just drive them crazy.
Well, that makes me think of a question. Can I go ahead and ask?
Yes, certainly.
Absolutely.
So I'm just thinking of Colin, and he loves music, and we have learned that he has, I don't know that it would be perfect pitch, but he can hit a note on the piano and he can match it.
Yes.
So what would you say about like music therapy versus some type of like instrumental lessons? Like,
so there is a difference. So as a music therapist, I'm not going to really be teaching them how to play an instrument or to sing to sing a particular song. We can do adaptive lessons, but yeah, if he is ready to match those pitches, then I would definitely start exploring into instrument play or vocal play with him. And just, yeah, I would love to see how far he can go with it. Is he just matching the pitch at this point, or is he telling you the letter?
He will hum it.
He will hum it. That is so cool. So cool.
You need to see him again. I want to come back. This is making me want music therapy again, Karla.
Yeah, we need to hook up again. I would love to see him. Your son's just amazing. He's come so far.
But that's a good point, though. I didn't mean to interrupt, but some people do call sometimes and say, my child, I'm interested in piano lessons or whatever. So that is a good point to make, that you're not going to necessarily teach them an instrument. While you do use instruments in the therapy, you're not going to teach them an instrument to play guitar or play piano or things like that.
Correct. And there is if a child wants to learn how to play the piano, they're going to learn a lot of skills from that. I mean, your coordination skills and your brain development is amazing when you learn how to play the piano. Your left hand's doing one thing, your right hand's doing one thing, your eyes are having to read two different clefs. It's amazing what you're multitasking with your body when you're playing the piano or even with the guitar. But for a music therapist, that's not really our goal, is to teach you how to play an instrument. We're going to try to find that skill that we need to improve upon within that session.
I had a question earlier, and then that kind of came to mind. Is this something that you do one-on-one, or is this something that's done in a group?
Good question. I generally see individuals one-on-one. I also see people in groups. The tricky part about groups with music therapy is you got to be able to match those individuals up that are kind of working on the same skill, same goal. But I love working with groups in music therapy. I love working with groups, period. But I love with music therapy, especially working in those. I wouldn't want to put, like any group that you put together, I'm not going to put a 10-year-old with a 5-year-old with music, because their music tastes are totally different from each other. But yeah, you can definitely use groups.
Okay. And then Beth McCune asked, do you have to have a doctor referral to get music therapy or social skills groups?
You do not. It would be nice to have a doctor's referral, and I do get doctor referrals for either one, but music therapy often is not covered under insurance. So therefore, you do not have to have a doctor's referral for that.
Fantastic.
But a side note for that, for people who have waivers still, they will use their, what is the fund where you...
Goods and services. So with waiver, if you are a PPL, if you're self-directed, there's a line item in there that music therapists can utilize. It's called goods and services if you are on the self-directed track. Goods and services is one of the approved services that waiver will pay for. And there's also, I don't know if she's on, I can't tell. There's also a music therapist over in the Cabell County area as well. We have there's several of us in the state. Milestones in Music is up in the Grafton area, and Patty has several music therapists up in there, and she reaches all the way up to Morgantown area. And there's myself here in the Charleston and Triad area, and then Karla is over in Cabell.
Okay. I was going to ask you that too, because I wasn't sure how many music therapists there were. I've not heard of art therapy, and I've heard of music therapy, but I actually, other than you, don't know anybody that does either of those.
I'm the only one in the Valley. And then Karla is over in Cabell area. But there's several of us. I'd say there's about 20, 25 of us in the state.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a place where people can go to find you? Like, is there like a website that they can look up? Or?
Yeah. So Sarah, the second slide after music therapy, the CBMT is our certification board, certification board of music therapy. Good golly. Certification board of music
therapy. You need to sing it.
This is our standard. So if you're looking for a music therapist, you can find one on AMTA. Go up back two more, Sarah.
Oh, is it not there?
Not that one. I want to go back two more. Right there. Yeah. So if you'll go to cbmt.org, that is where all our certified music therapists are. You can have a music therapist who isn't board certified. They've let their boards lapse. But I strongly recommend, whether you're in West Virginia or if you're listening in another state, that you go to CBMT and search for a music therapist. And that will, they'll give you all your certified boards music therapist. We do have to take boards afterwards. What our protocol is for our music therapy it's a bachelor's or master's. I'm so old, it's now a bachelor's. But and then we do a 6-month internship afterwards. And then you take your boards, you sit for your boards, and then we have to do continuing ed just like everybody else.
Okay. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to make sure that your providers are always trained. So
Yes.
Thank you for going back and sharing that with us because, yes,
And also
because of all the reasons.
with the new stuff. Yeah. And also to keep up with the new stuff. You know, it's good that most therapists have to continue ed every year to learn. There's always a new treatment or a new approach. So it's good that they're up on everything.
Yeah, I was looking online at the AMTA site, and I had not paid my dues for this month. And so I did not pop up. I'm like, I'm board certified. I forgot that if I don't pay my national dues that you don't pop up. So I would always recommend going to your CBMT first and seeing.
Fantastic.
All right. The other thing that I liked doing at Children's Therapy Clinic is our social skills group. And I just have a big old blast with these.
She just plays.
I just play all day long. People ask me what I do. I say, I sing music and I play games is what I do all day long. So,
I'm jealous.
I wanted to tell you a little bit about our social groups. Let me get back down here so I can tell you. So I will tell you what I follow. What I base our social skills groups on is social thinking. And Michelle Garcia Winter and Pamela Crook kind of developed this curriculum, this thinking mechanism here. And this is kind of how we base our groups on. The social thinking methodology is designed to help individuals ages 4 to adults with solid language and learning abilities, while deeper. You can read all that yourselves, but that is kind of where we kind of start with our groups. All right. Why? And why do we do social skill groups? Well, I just want to ask the question, why do you teach math? And why do you teach history? And why do you teach other things? It's, for some people, math comes easy. For some people, English comes easy. For some people, social skills comes easy. But for some people, it doesn't come easy. So you might need a tutor in math. You might need a tutor in history. This is where social thinking comes in. You might need a tutor in social skills and understanding how people operate. Some of the things that I just wanted to jump right into this. Some of the things that we kind of teach or go over, skills taught, zones of regulation, understanding where you are and how you feel. Sometimes we don't even know how we feel. We walk around it, but we don't know if we're feeling happy or sad or frustrated, or what's the difference between happy and excited or happy and angry. So we really talk about emotions and where you lie. And our big one is zones of regulation. So every time a child walks into social skills group or our social groups, they have to check in. They have to identify where they are at that present moment. And that might change in the middle of the session. And it's okay to come in the yellow zone, but leave in the green zone. It's okay to come in the blue zone when you're just kind of feeling blah and leave in the green zone. You always want to strive for that green zone. And it's also important for kids to understand that it's okay to be in each one of these zones. It's okay to be in the blue zone. It's okay to be in the green. It's okay to be in the yellow. And it's okay to be in the red zone. What isn't okay is how we react when we're in the red zone. And red zone is just not about the negative emotions. It's also if your mom all of a sudden tells you you're going to go get to see Demi Lovato in concert, you would probably be in the red zone if you really like Demi Lovato. So anyway, understanding those zones and how to get in and out of those zones and what kind of reactions you have in those zones is our big goal there. With our younger elementary kids, I use a lot of Superflex. I use a lot of in the team of unthinkables. So here's some examples of some of our unthinkables that they love to talk about. So Superflex is the one that we talk about, that he gets you back on track, and he learns, and you learn how to be a Superflex. You learn how to be flexible. Rock Brain, just to give you a few examples. Rock Brain, he gets you stuck on your ideas. So he's like a rock. He's not flexible. He's just solid. So if you get stuck on one idea and can't get off of them, you're being a rock brain. Or Brain Eater is, we always talk about in groups, keep your brain in the group and keep your body in the group. Keep your brain is where you're not getting distracted by other things and you're not being an octopus and going off and thinking of other things. The one that a lot of my kids love is the DOF, the Destroy Your Fun. If you're playing a game and you get really angry because you did not win, you're being a DOF. You're being a Destroy Your Fun. And so we've got to figure out how you're going to be a Superflex and not be a destroyer of fun, but to be an innovator of fun. So all these little team of unthinkables also have a thinkable that go with them. But they're just really fun. A lot of the kids relate to these team of unthinkables. They start naming, oh, I think I'm being a rock brain, or they might call out their peer in the group. You know what? You're being kind of a glass man. You're having a little bit of a problem. That's a size 1 problem, and you're acting like a size 4 problem. Another big topic we talk about are red, yellow, and green thoughts. And okay, adults, we can all use a little bit of this. So red thoughts are thoughts that you can think, but you cannot say. And we all know what I'm talking about. So just remember, these are thoughts you can have in your brain, but you just can't say it. You can't go around and say that shirt is absolutely ugly on you. You just don't say that. Yellow thoughts are thoughts that you can have and think, but can only tell some people. So the example they give here is, I had an accident. You want to tell that to your teacher, your parent, but you do not want to go around to your to your friends that you're talking about, says, I just had an accident at school today. Or another one that I like to talk about is the I love you. You don't go around saying I love you to the lady behind you in Kroger, but you do say I love you to your parents. And then green thoughts are things you can think and you can say to just about anybody. So we work all really hard on red, yellow, and green thoughts. And what else do we have? Oh, this is our typical group session. Here's our big 3 groups that we're having right now. One I'm still doing telehealth with, and they are teenagers, upper teens, actually. They're about to graduate out of the program, and they meet weekly, and we do a lot of reflecting on movie clips, or we'll do a lot of conversational skills. They have been meeting for quite some time, and they're just a really close bunch. They will text. We talk about texting. We talk about hashtags. They will text throughout the week to keep in contact with them. We also have, right now we have a small boys group that comes in, and they're a lot of fun. And then we also have a younger group as well. So our typical sessions, greeting, you can tell I like a beginning and ending to all my sessions. We always have a greeting, conversational talk. I'll teach a concept. We'll practice that concept. I'll try to give them time for some unstructured time. I find that a lot of kids really do well in structured time, but then when I give them unstructured time to practice that concept, we've got some work to do. So I try to give them every week some free time, some unstructured time where they have to kind of plan that. And playing games, they love playing games, board games. I cannot tell parents, get the board. They knew what they were doing when they created board games. Board games teach you so many skills. So find games to play. And then I am done talking. Woohoo! So
I knew
here are,
Karla could talk a lot. I was good. See, I talked quickly and briefly because I wanted to give you enough time. But I just think it shows, though, too, you are very passionate about what you do, and you're good at it and you like it. So you, like you said, you could talk about this all day long.
yeah.
But I did answer one of the questions someone had asked. We can talk more about fees because everyone's situation is different. So if you want to call the clinic, we can talk about that. But if you have any questions about the clinic, Monday through Friday, give us a call. And if for some reason we don't answer, leave a voicemail and I'll get back to you. Or you can go to our website, or you can even email me, which I don't think I included my email, though.
If you want to put it in the comments here, these the beautiful thing about these live streams is that we save them. So when parents come to us that are new, we can always refer them to these resources. We keep them on our Facebook and on our webpage. So
I just wanted to brag on Karla, and I hope you get, if you're not already jam-packed with people, I hope you get tons of referrals and calls, because Karla is, not to offend any other therapist, but Karla is my favorite therapist in the whole world out of everyone. And when, I'm going to cry. Why am I going to cry? This is what we're here for. It's okay. When my son was 2 and I'm like, what is going on? And, I'm a therapist and I just didn't know what to do. Karla was the first person I called. So, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm ridiculous. But,
stop. Stop. I'm pregnant. I'm going to cry too.
Emotional. But I think that's just a testament to your personality too. But music therapy it's not just music. I mean, it really is that connection that you have with your kids. And Karla and I used to work together, and I can attest that everyone in the building hears Karla's sessions and everybody just has fun. I mean, I don't think I ever saw a kid come in, or adult, who wasn't happy to see Karla. So
Thank you. And I think just for music therapy, if a child is plateauing, or if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, things are just not working, I need something else, give music therapy a try. It just works. It's kind of like ABA. It just works. So,
it's just science. I mean,
yeah, but yeah, anyway, I don't know. Thank you so much for those kind words. I enjoy my parent interaction. I love talking to parents, and I love networking with parents with services that they need. I love going on these journeys with these parents. And I have 2 typical kids, so I enjoy being a part of your village, and a part of the journey that you're on. And if I don't know the answer to something, by golly, I will find the answer to what you're looking for. So, but yeah, I will say I enjoy my job. I don't really call it a job. I get up every day.
Plays all day, right next to my office.
I probably don't turn the radio on in the car as much as most people think I do, though.
You need that quiet time to reset, huh?
I think like most people, you're like, okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that you guys could join us today. I think it's super important. I mean, we get on here and we talk about different services that might benefit children and families. We've talked about waiver. We've talked about speech and feeding and ABA. And at the end of the day, like you said, there's just so many people with needs, and insurance doesn't always like to play nice or fair. And so it's great that there are resources like what you provide for families who can access it at all different levels. Like Beth was saying, she does have insurance, but, it's still an option. And I know personally that I've met so many families who don't have healthcare, and it's really hard to not have any answers to, you know, or referrals, or to tell them about services that they can't have. So it's a blessing to our community that you all are there. And I'm so glad that we could support you in sharing your messaging and sharing your programs with our families on our network. So thank you. Hopefully we can do some more fun stuff together.
Yep, thank you. And if anyone's out there that, you know, we have a Facebook page as well, and we try to share information about our services on there, our current activities, and we try to share also helpful information for parents, you know, other resources, or maybe an article that might just hit, you know, something like, yes, that's how I feel, or things like that too. So please like our Facebook page.
And if you just want to call and ask about music therapy, just call the office, and I can always give you a call back and talk to you more individually about your situation.
Fantastic. Well, did we have any other questions? I don't see any in the chat that we've not addressed. But if you do have a question, just leave it there. The girls, I'm sure, will check back, or if not, I'll tag them back in it and let them know, so we can get that addressed. And this is usually when we hand it over to Taylor to do her moment of personal self-care. And since she's not here with us, I think we're all gonna, as moms and busy people ourselves, we'll probably just take this moment and go get our kids finished settled, or watch the last bit of our TV show that we didn't finish this week. So we hope that you're going to do the same. I don't know about you, but I'm a Grey's Anatomy fan, and I still have like half of the episode to watch from where I couldn't finish it earlier because I had to be a mom.
Fun fact, I've never watched that show. So.
Well, don't start because you'll get addicted. I feel like I'm just waiting for it to end at this point, but I have to finish it. All right, ladies. Well, thank you so much, Valicia and Karla, for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
All right, thanks. Have a good night.
You too.
Gotta go.